We've now got a disabled vehicle at the 210 eastbound. That's at Midland Park Road. And before you get into Somerville, about 20 miles, look out for a disabled vehicle at the 180 eastbound. See something else? Call me 277-1250. I'm Fred Story in the Right Now Traffic Center.
We have a 40% chance of rain today, high of 88. 20% chance of showers tonight, 73 the low. 20% chance of rain tomorrow and Friday, too. Up to 93 tomorrow, 91 on Friday. Saturday, 88. 50% chance of rain, 70% chance of showers forecast for Sunday with a high of 88. Right now, 76 at the Big Talker, 1250 WTMA with your traffic and weather together. I'm John Quincy along with Sheree Bernardi and a special guest. I said last hour, a special guest DJ, but we're not going to be playing any records. A special guest talk show host / guest. I know he's really nervous about being on TV this time of the morning because he has absolutely no experience in it whatsoever. Of course, on Comcast C2. It is Bill Burr from Channel 5, formerly from Channel 5.
I know it's hard to believe after 8.5 years I'm now a former employee of Live 5 News.
You know, about a month ago, I got a notification from one of my Facebook friends, one of your coworkers, as a matter of fact. I will not say his name because he still has a job. But anyway, he said, you're not going to believe it, that Bill Burr was just given notice that his services will not be required after the end of July. And that really surprised me because I've thought for years you're one of the best things that Channel 5 had on TV.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you're very kind, John and Sheree. Thank you. Yeah, I was surprised too. But I guess backing up a little bit, it started last year when my contract was up last July. And management came to me, and it was time to negotiate, and they were telling me about how unhappy they were with me. And I said, well, why? And they said, well, we're just unhappy with your performance. I said,
again, why?
Well, exactly. When you have a 37 share at 5 a.m., what's there to be unhappy about, you know?
Everybody should be watching.
Exactly.
37, that's nothing.
Well, exactly. And I said, well, wait a minute. I've been here. At the time, I was there 7.5 years. I says, I've been here 7.5 years, and you've never complained to me about anything that I've ever done here. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, you know, things change, and we're just unhappy. And this is the famous consultant quote. You're not warm and fuzzy. And I looked at, I swear to you, I'm not making this up. I said, I'm not warm and fuzzy. I said, wait a minute here. We cover hard news on the morning news. We cover murders, stabbings, rapes, robberies, armed robberies, corruption. And I says, I will not smile after a murder story. I'm just not going to do it. And so it just kind of snowballed from there. And so anyway, I re-signed my contract for a year, and I was thinking through the past year. Is that standard
to do it for a year, or do they do multi-year contracts?
Typically, it's multi-year. Yeah. Because I ever since I've been there, it was always 2 or 3 year deals. And again, everything was fine. I had a great 8.5 year run there. Yeah, but for some reason, the past year was just tumultuous. And but anyway, I was thinking, I was hoping and praying that common sense would prevail. And that management would say, you know what, Bill is a good employee. He's never been written up. He shows up on time. He's never slept through his alarm at 2 a.m. He comes to work. He does the job. The ratings are there. And I kept thinking that maybe that common sense would prevail. But unfortunately, we're talking about broadcasting, and common sense isn't exactly known to take place in this industry. Oh, we have
plenty of common sense here at our radio station.
Well, except TMA, of course.
Yeah, they never let anybody go that does a good job here.
Yeah, I know that would never happen.
No,
I know.
Exactly. So Bill Burr from Channel 5 is here. After the Huckabee Report, we're going to open up the phones at 556-1250 if you want to say something to Bill Burr. Now, were you able to say goodbye? Your last broadcast was Friday morning. Were you able to say goodbye to folks on the air?
I did. Management was kind enough to allow me to say goodbye.
See, that means they trust you. So this goes back to, what the heck was this decision all about?
Exactly. And I wasn't going to burn down the TV station, even though I could have, because I have an ample supply of hairspray back in the men's makeup room at Live 5. But I didn't do that, though, because that's the type of person I am.
What was it like? Now, what time did you get up today?
I woke up a little early today. I woke up, well, not early per se, but I woke up at 6 o'clock this morning.
But when you were doing your job, what time did you have to get up in order to go to work at Channel 5 in the morning?
1:30, 1:45, 2 a.m.
Oh, man.
I mean, because I had to be there at 3:30 a.m. And I had to meet with producers to get ready for 3 hours of news because they do 2 hours of news on Live 5. Then we do an hour of news on Fox 24 from 7 to 8.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to do.
That's a lot.
I really feel sorry for you guys because, of course, we're on Comcast C2, but luckily we don't have HD cameras. We have the low definition security cameras.
I don't know which is worse.
So you cannot see nary a wrinkle or blemish on our face. But how you guys, especially with HD, could get up at 1:30 in the morning and go into work at a TV station and have to look good right at 5 o'clock. That camera comes on, and you have to look as good as the people that have, they're on the 6 o'clock news or the 11 o'clock news at night.
Well, exactly. Well, yeah, unfortunately, I'm not blessed. I don't have natural beauty like Ann McGill or Sheree Bernardi, so it takes extra time for me. I need to shave. I need to use the high-definition makeup. But again, it's just one of the added time elements to doing that morning shift. You have to allow extra time to make sure the hair is right, that the tie is not crooked, and you have your makeup on. So it's just
those pesky pillow creases in your face have all been are gone.
Hopefully they are at that
Lots
point.
Lots of Visine to get the red out and all that. Bill Burr from Channel 5 will be here until 9 o'clock. Phone lines open now, 556-1250. If you want to get in line to talk to Bill Burr, former Channel 5 employee, and we'll be asking him what's next for Bill Burr after 8.5 years at Live 5 News. What's his next challenge going to be? Is he going to be on the TV here locally, or is he going to do something smart and get out of broadcasting? We'll find out coming up next here on WTMA. But right now, here comes the Gov.
This is the Huckabee Report for Wednesday. I'm Mike Huckabee from Santa Rosa Beach, Florida.
From the ABC News 4 Pinpoint Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Tom Crawford on the Big Talker 1250 WTMA.
Right now, mostly cloudy, 76 at the Big Talker 1250 WTMA with your traffic and weather together. I'm John Quincy along with Sheree Bernardi on the Morning Buzz, and we're delighted to have former Channel 5 news anchor and in the morning, Bill Burr. And a lot of people are going, what? When did this happen? Friday was your last day after 8.5 years at Channel 5. And it was a surprise to you when they decided not to renew your contract about a month ago. And so what's next for Bill Burr? You know what's next for Bill Burr? Talking to these fine people who've been waiting on the line at 556-1250. And then we'll find out what Bill's plans are. Let's talk to Betty from Ravenel. Good morning, Betty. You're on with Bill, Sheree, and Quincy.
Good morning to you, Bill.
Hey there, Betty. Good morning, dear.
Listen, I'm going to miss you on Channel 5. You always came across as a professional. And as far as smiling, I operate a business in West Ashley. I'm not a smiler and a cut-upper. And Ann McGill and Chad Watson at 5 o'clock in the morning can almost make you nauseated because of all the laughing and cutting up.
Well, Betty, if that's true, I'm sorry about that. But the truth of the matter, though, is that Ann and Chad are good friends. And even when I was there, the three of us, we were the three amigos, and we were good friends. And it's just natural at 5 a.m. to cut up because that's what we do, even when the camera isn't on. So it
was a nice, lighter way to start the day.
Well, exactly. Before we get into the blood and guts of the news and the murders and the crimes and everything else like that, though. But I do appreciate you watching, though, Betty. Thank you. And I did try to I was, if anything, I was kind of the referee between Chad and Ann because those two were kind of like brother and sister in a way. They'd kind of pick at each other, but they're good friends, though.
Yeah, well, that's great, as I said. But sometimes at 5 o'clock in the morning, too much cutting up after the camera's rolling. It's not what somebody wants to hear when they're trying to get dressed to get out the door. But I will miss the way you always carried yourself, very professional-like.
Oh, thanks, Betty. Well, it was
viewers will too. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, Betty. Thank you very much, dear.
Thank you, Betty. I remember when I first saw Bill. I think one of your first things that you did when you came here was you anchored the weekend news, and I said this. Sometimes with the local TV stations, the anchors they have on the weekend are really, you can tell they're like part-timers. They're just not up to the A team. But when I saw Bill do the news on Channel 5, I said, way to go, Channel 5. You've got somebody that's just as good as Bill Sharp and the rest of the crew there. And I thought I thought that eventually Bill Sharp's going to hit his 100th birthday and be forced to retire. And I thought that Bill Burr would be the next in line. I mean, he's got the hair, he's got the looks. I mean, he's only like 25 years old. I mean, really, look at this. Look at this guy.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
But thank you, though, John.
All right. Anyway, yeah, Channel 5 made a mistake. Do they even try to negotiate salary and say, hey, you're making too much. These are tough times. Would you be willing to stay on for the same salary as you made last year or a little less?
Well, no, they didn't do that. But and I would have been willing to negotiate with them. Ironically, back in 2008, when Channel 5 was sold, the new company came in, and that's when the market tanked. And so the economy was in bad shape. And so management came to the contract employees, including me, and they asked if they would, for the good of the company, if we would forego our raises. And they would just amend the contracts, and then we would just go about our daily business. And I said, well, sure, I'll do it if it's for the good of the company. And we were just taken over by this new company, Raycom Media. And I said, sure, I'll do it for the company, because again, it was a scary time, if you recall, 2008. The market tanked, and the automakers in Detroit, they were shut down, and it was a scary time.
Not as many people advertising. Their ad budgets were slashed. We had that here at WTMA.
You know, exactly. So I even passed up my raise that year just for the good of the company and for the station.
Did you eventually get a raise?
I did eventually. In fact, when my last July, when they offered me the 1-year contract, they said, we'll give you a raise. I said, okay, that's nice, thank you. But if money was an issue, I would have been more than happy to sit down and negotiate with them.
All right, so blame it on the consultants. Oh man,
always.
Of course.
WTMA. Good morning. It's let's see, George from Hanahan at 556-1250 talking to former. I kind of get choked up when I say this. Former Live 5 news anchor and reporter Bill Burr. Go ahead, George.
Well, quick question. How are you and Jordan getting along?
Me and Jordan Smith, I haven't talked to Jordan in a couple of months, but when we last communicated on Facebook, she was doing very well, George, and she's happily engaged, and last I heard she's supposed to get married. I believe it's this fall. And Jordan had an untimely departure, too, from Live 5. And I to be honest with you, I never even heard the whole story on that. But she's doing well, last I heard.
Okay, that's all.
Oh, yeah. I'll give her your best, though, whenever I see her next time.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks, George.
It seems like Channel 5 has had the good sense of having some good people there for a long time, like Bill Sharp and Debbie Chard and Harv Jacobs and folks like that. And then you have the people, the reporters that come in and they're there for a couple of years and then they're gone. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's just Charleston's a stepping stone to a larger market. Other times they're not renewed. They're not happy with their performance. What's the ratio of people that go through Channel 5? How many people tend to want to stay there for a good long time, as opposed to those who want to move on or go or have that decision made for them to move on?
Right. Typically, the anchors and the sports people and the meteorologists, typically they will stay longer because they like the Area 1 and they like Channel 5, and typically the money's a little bit better because it's a more high profile position. The reporter staff will turn over more because they don't get paid as much, and this is what we in the business call considered a smaller market, the Charleston area, and so typically they will go different places, and that's not just Channel 5, but that's also Channel 2 and Channel 4, but that's also a feather in the cap to Charleston because this is such a competitive television and radio market that whenever you do work here on the air, your work gets noticed and from the big leagues. So you can go from here to a Tampa, Florida, maybe to an Orlando, to a Richmond, Virginia, something like that. Pittsburgh. Erin Kinzel, who was a meteorologist at Channel 5 for a while, she went from here to Pittsburgh a few years ago, and now she's back. And now she's back freelancing over at Channel 4.
And that's where you're from, Pittsburgh, right?
That's my hometown. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, hang on just 1 second. I want to ask him. We're going to ask him what his plans are, but we want to get to your phone calls at 556-1250 for Bill Burr, who was let go from Channel 5 after 8.5 years of great service and came as a shock to us inside the broadcast industry, as well as many, many viewers are wondering what happened to Bill Burr, why he's not on Channel 5 anymore. And Joan from Latson, you're on with Bill.
Joan.
Good morning, Bill.
Hey.
Good morning.
Hi, Joan. Good morning, dear.
Well, I just want to say that you're going to be greatly missed. Your presence on Channel 5 was spectacular. I wish you all the best. And please let us know where you're going. You know, I know that you've got a future in broadcasting. You're just as good as any broadcaster I've ever seen. And I just have one little question.
Sure.
Have you been parting your hair all your life? I mean, since you were a little boy.
I used to have a bowl haircut when I was a kid, but I think that goes back to my days of Catholic schools and
he liked the Beatles a lot when he was growing up.
A lot too. So, but I guess I started it when I was in grade school. I just kind of threw a part in there. I have like no natural curl to my hair whatsoever, so I actually need to have a little bit of hair gel and a little bit of hairspray. I know I joke about the hairspray part, but it's true though. I need to have it because I don't have any natural curl like a lot of people do. But the part has been there for a long time, Joan. But I appreciate your kind words. Thank you. And I love Charleston. And I'm really hoping to stay here. It may not be in a broadcast capacity. It may be something else. When you get to be my age and you moved around the country a lot, I've done a lot of neat things, been to a lot of places, but I just want to settle down and have some roots. And I have a house here. I have a wonderful circle of friends. And now even my family from up north, they love to come down and visit Charleston. And so, and this feels like a second home for them. So I have a lot of considerations to make, but hopefully I'll be able to stay here.
All right, Joan, thanks a lot for the call. We appreciate it. It's WTMA's Morning Buzz. We're on with WCSC-TV former employee. I guess they took his key away, and he's got his last check, and now he's looking for work. It's Bill Burr. We welcome your phone calls at 556-1250. Before I get to the next call, can you work in TV in Charleston, or do you have what they call a non-compete where you have to sit out even if you've been terminated? And that's the thing I can never understand in radio. They'll let you go or not renew your contract, but then they'll say on top of that, you can't go to work for anybody else in this town for, a year or 60 days or whatever the term might be.
Right. There is a non-compete clause in my contract that I had with Live 5, and it prevents me from working at a competing TV station for, I forget the time frame. It's like 6 months or a year or something like that.
Well, Channel 4 or Channel 2 should snap you up as soon as that's done,
I would certainly consider the opportunity.
Yeah. Do you have any plans, immediate plans?
Besides sleep, no. It's nice getting back into a normal sleep routine, but I do have some resumes out, and I have had a couple of local interviews here with a local agency and a local company, and they were very interested. And it's not broadcast related, but it is communications related.
Yeah. You should be a spokesman for something.
It was something like that. Yeah.
Speaking of spokesman, let's talk to the spokesman for the Charleston City Fire Department, Mark Ruppel. Good morning, Mark.
My buddy Mark.
Good morning, Bill. How are you?
I'm doing fine, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing well. Just wanted, on behalf of the City of Charleston Fire Department, wanted to thank you for your support of the department over the past few years and wish you the best.
Mark, I appreciate it, my friend. A little known story here. Mark and I went to college together many years ago.
Way long ago.
Well, I know, didn't too long ago, but Mark, we had some good times back there, and we reunited not too long after I moved here to Charleston in 2004, and we've been friends, and we catch up occasionally, and unfortunately we work different work schedules and everything, but you've been very kind to me. In the fire department, you guys do an amazing job, Mark, and all the stuff that you do there, and the firefighters and the new chief coming in. It's good things are ahead for the fire department, and I appreciate your kind words.
All right, Mark, thank you so much for the call. We appreciate it. Fred Story's not in here, but he told me the other day when I told him that you were coming in and why you were coming in, why you weren't working at the TV station anymore. He said that his wife, Gail, was extremely upset because you would think that you would watch, that she would watch, well, she doesn't have Comcast where she lives, but she would listen to WTMA in the morning, hear her husband.
Of course,
the entire time. Yeah. No, she's a big Bill Burr fan, and she told Fred that she was not watching Channel 5 anymore. She's that mad because they made such a boneheaded mistake of letting Bill Burr, the next Bill Sharp, go.
Well, Gail's very kind. Gail, thanks for the kind words. And yeah, I don't have an axe to grind. This is not about me. I'm not going to sue Live 5. I'm not here to say, I'm not looking for a pity party. That's not it. I simply just want to let folks know.
So you don't want to talk to Andy Savage next?
Well, actually, I like Andy. He's a good guy. No. I just didn't want to come across as me being mean and bitter and angry, because I'm not. I'm just hurt. That's all.
And that wouldn't do you any good anyway.
No. It's very unproductive. And if anything, I'm just grateful for Live 5 to give me the opportunity to say goodbye to the viewers and for giving me 8 great years. And I thank all the viewers for being so kind.
All right, in our last few remaining minutes with Bill Burr from Channel 5, or formerly from Channel 5. As of Friday, it was his last day. Let's talk to Denise from West Ashley. Good morning, Denise. You're on the radio.
Hey, Denise. Good morning.
Hello, Denise. Are you there?
Oh,
well, hang on just one second. Denise, are you there?
Hi, Bill. This is Denise Pardee.
Hey there, Denise.
Hey,
thanks for calling in this morning.
Yes, first of all, I want to say that my mother and I really appreciate you taking the time to get the pictures back to us from my father, who was an old employee with Channel 5.
Oh, that's right.
Yes, and most of all, the handwritten thank you note. Who takes time to do handwritten thank you notes but someone like Bill Burr?
Well, Denise, you're very kind. You're very kind. Yeah, we did a story for folks that don't know. Denise's mom... Denise, well, your mom had first of all, your late father used to work at Live 5. He was like a film processor, right?
Right. He was.
That's going way back.
Back in the East Bay Street days, many moons ago, Happy Rain time, Carol Godwin time, Charlie Hall, grew up with all of those. And just, my mother was still in her home, and we came across loads and loads of good stuff that belonged to Channel 5, and we turned it over to Bill, and from then, you did a segment thing or like a little program on it?
Yeah. We did a 5-part series called Inside the Archives, and we took the film reels and we went to Trident Tech. They have a great film department at Trident Tech. And Russell Schaff up there, one of the film experts, he was helping me review the film, and we came across all this amazing archive footage of Live 5 from back in the day.
Oh, that's awesome.
And news events. And I gave Denise and her family credit because they had these film reels. So now it's been saved and preserved, and we've transferred all of it to DVD. So now it's saved forever.
Right. And we appreciate you doing that, and it brought back a lot of memories for us. And we're going to miss you. Our mornings aren't the same.
Well, I appreciate it, Denise. Thank you very much. And give your mom my best. I appreciate the kind words, and thanks for waking up with me.
And Denise, in protest, I think you should watch Comcast C2 every morning between 6 and 10. That'll show those people at Channel 5,
That's right.
There you go. All right, the phones are blowing up. We've got every line lit here for Bill Burr, but unfortunately the clock is saying we can't talk to you anymore, but hey, man, you'll always be a good friend, and keep us posted. Let us know what's going on. And, folks, if you want to hire your own anchorman to kind of come and
let me know.
Maybe come and do the news for you. Every morning he shows up at your house wearing, a coat and tie, lots of hairspray.
Gives you the headlines. Yeah.
Exactly. Let me know. Newsman for hire.
You've heard of concierge doctors. He could be, the concierge anchorman.
Sure.
You got the money. Bill Burr definitely has the time.
Oh, very kind. Thanks, guys. I really
Bill,
appreciate it.
Have a great day.
You too, John. Thanks a lot, Sheree.
WTMA News Time is 8:57.
Police still on the road with that accident at the 2.